Hello everyone and welcome to Gosport Railworks. My name is James and today I'll be introducing you to N Gauge, which is the gauge which I modelled myself. To begin with, just a little bit just to tell you about it with my little bit of paper to help me. N Gauge or N scale is a popular model railway gauge. Depending on the manufacturer or country, it can range between 1 to 148 to 1 to 160 scale. For British N Gauge it's 1 to 148. Just to give you some examples of N Gauge compared to the other two popular gauges in for British model trains, I'll quickly cut so you can see a bit more easier. Right, here we are with a nice little scale. Here is a 6-inch ruler, also known as 15cm ruler. If I were to zoom in and get the controls right around because I'm doing it backwards. And on here is a ruler with the N scale for British, just so you can actually measure things out. So yep, that's about 50 feet in N gauge. So pop that there. The reason why it's called N gauge is, I know the reason why I've got hard, but I'm just remembering. The name refers to the track dimensions, which is 9mm. So between the two rails, it's 9mm. Ooh, so there you go. So between here, 9. So N for 9. So quite easy to do that. Let me just get the examples out. So here is a Terrier in N gauge. And here we have Terrier in O gauge, which is the Terrier is 1 to 148. The Terrier in O gauge is 1 to 76.2. And here we have a O Gauge Terrier, which can't fit on the screen. There we go. And this is 1 to 43.5. So that's the size difference. The Terrier here is half the dimensions of this one, making it 1/8 of volume, and it's four times less in dimensions of the O gauge one, making it 1/64 for volume. So very tiny little engine compared to the big beasties behind it. Just to explain a bit more about the history of N gauge, it was originally, the scale's been around originally since 1927. However, the more popular, more familiar, modern commercial models have been developed by the Arnold Company of Nuremberg in 1962. N gauge today is has a fairly large global following, and typically is only second to O gauge or HO gauge, so about this size. So it's only second to O in the UK and HO in the US. However, in Japan it is the most popular gauge because it's much smaller and they have smaller houses. Over the years, N gauge has produced a decently large range of prototypical models, and most niche items are produced by a healthy kit building industry. So that's all that. So I'll quickly cut again. Alright, now a quick brief overview of the manufacturers. First of all, we start with the most prolific N gauge manufacturer, which is Graham Paris, which is now owned by Bachmann, who have been producing models since at least, from what I remember, 1980. This is an example, the British Railways Class 47 in a lovely Network Southeast livery. We also have Dapol, who made the Terrier from beforehand, and also the O Gauge Terrier. They are a British manufacturer, have been fairly successful in N gauge. They make locomotives and stock, same with Railworks. An example is the Southern Railway Schools class here. We also have Pico, who produce, first of all the track, well not all of it, but they produce a wide range of track in that lot, so all these track which you see here is all Pico track, and they do also do rolling stock, like a very inexpensive brake van there, and also now and then they do release locomotives as well. I think it's mostly the Pico Jubilee. I'm not entirely sure. Haven't got one yet. I do want to get one. For crowdfunding front and also independent manufacturers, we have Revolution, which I don't have any examples of locomotives, unfortunately. They produce things which have been crowdfunded on their website, and it's basically items which the two main manufacturers, which are Faros and Dapol, aren't likely to produce. That's along with Sonic models as well. They released they recently announced a class, I think it's 5100, I'm not entirely sure. I can't. There's one which I do want to get at, but it's a GWL locomotive and I'm not entirely familiar with them. Then we have Union Mills. It's a small manufacturer of very niche items, which the two major manufacturers don't cater to. It's one guy who lives on the Isle of Man, and as you can see, the detail is not quite as good as the other two manufacturers, but it's sometimes the only way you can get locomotives such as the Adams 395 class. Then we have Metcalf and Rato making kits for buildings and all that lot. And also we have had now and then items from Hornby, mainly the Scaledale buildings, and also we have had the Brighton Bell locomotive as well, multiple unit as well, so that's always nice to see, even though it's a bit expensive, but still very nice to see. But now let's move on to the advantages and disadvantages of N Gauge. So here we are. Right, I brought out the terriers again to discuss the advantages and disadvantages of N Gauge. First advantage is, well, all the advantages are typically just due to its size. As you can see, no, it's very tiny. First advantage is that layouts can fit absolutely anywhere. For example, you can fit on the top bunk of a bunk bed, which is what my one is. You can, since it's half the dimensions of O Gauge, it typically fits it. If you want to make a similar layout, it will fit in 1/4 of the space, or if you want to use the same size space, you can fit a much larger, significant size layout in basically the same space. So for my layout here, if I did a double O Gauge layout, I would basically have far less track and points and all that lot to play around with, and with O Gauge I would not be able to build a layout on my bunk bed. It would not be possible because it just needs so much more room. Second advantage is that you can get more realistic sized train lengths. So in way you can get a prototype of pretty much everything, including very short rakes. In N Gauge you can pretty much model a realistic sized rake. So I'm just going to zoom out a little bit just so I can actually be in the picture. But yes, a bit more in the picture anyway. But yeah, you can get a more realistically sized rake, so you can have a two sets, something like this. No, that's quite normal for double O Gauge, sometimes even O Gauge, but N Gauge I can basically make this 10 coaches long and still fit on a reasonably sized layout. Third advantage is, well, compact storage. Each of the items are absolutely tiny, like my little wagon here. I can pop it out of my pocket and walk away and put it somewhere else. I would not do that with a terrier because he'll probably get damaged in my pocket, but in this little case it will fit quite nicely on a shelf somewhere. Pack it all away. Same goes for layouts. You can make more portable sized layouts, even layouts which non-folding layouts or anything like that, which can fit into the back of a reasonably sized family car. So that's 3 advantages, and unfortunately they are all tied to the size. Disadvantages. Again, fortunately the size can also be a disadvantage, namely to people which have either poor eyesight or something like that. For how to give an example of my father, even though he likes trains, he doesn't appreciate N gauge as much as he would with double gauge, because his eyesight is starting to fail, so he can't actually make out half the details. And they also do feel, no, they are lacking weight. That's barely a couple of grams. That's about 100 grams, and that's a lot more 100 grams. This feels much more like a train than this would. This, no, it sounds like a bee, in my opinion. So yes, they can also be a bit more overly fiddly due to its small size. Next drawback is cost and limited selection compared to primarily double gauge. Even though they are physically smaller, the prices are still roughly the same price as the high-end locomotives and models in double gauge. Because, for example, the most expensive locomotive here is, unsurprisingly, the largest one. The next expensive locomotive is actually my N Gauge Terrier. At 80, it was about, actually you probably could get it for about £60 now. Then my double O Gauge Terrier was cost me £40. So this one is about 50% more expensive than this one, and it's smaller. And also, even though we do have a wide range of models in N gauge, compared to double O gauge, it's still far smaller, and that's unfortunately due to that double O gauge is the larger market, and so from what I've heard, N gauge is about 20% to possibly up to 25% of the model railway market. O gauge is not even on, no, is even smaller, but yes. So we do have a lot less items to pick out for ready to roll, ready to run items. And lastly, child friendly. N gauge is not particularly child friendly. Let's move this out of the way, which is also not particularly child friendly. Compared to these two, I'd let my nephews and my niece touch this one more than this one, because due to its small size and still highly detailed, because this one's actually technically more detailed than this one, and it's fragile, they are not toys. They can be damaged very easily, and I would recommend adult supervision to anybody who's quite young. So that's the advantages and disadvantages in my opinion. So let's move on to the next bit. Right, that's my brief introduction to N gauge for anybody who's not familiar with the gauge, either that you model a different gauge and you're just thinking about getting into N gauge itself, or you've not done any model trains at all and you're just thinking of what can I fit inside the house. So yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the comments. I'll be putting up a second video shortly about getting your first start into N gauge, which I'd recommend getting a train set instead of doing what I did, which was buy all the track and then go from there and get what you want. You can do that, however the best possible way is most likely going to be getting yourself a train set. So I'll be diving into what you should be, what you could do for getting into it that way. And So I hope you enjoyed the video, and feel free to subscribe, like. My voice is going. Subscribe, like, and comment if you feel like it, and I'll see you again next time. So take care now. Bye bye.